Hi guys, welcome to Sons of Cain. On this video we've got a little interview between Chris and Sifu Tong. If you haven't seen Sifu Tong before, we suggest you get hold of this guy, watch his YouTube, watch his Facebook page, invite him down to your club.
We try and train with Sifu Tong as often as possible. As you can see from the interview, great passion for what he does and for teaching. If you ever get a chance to train with him, please do. We have got some video of him training with us, which we will put up if we can. First, I'd like to thank you for coming down from Mornington to the sunny south to teach this weekend, and the stuff we covered, which was really good.
Thank you. I'm very, very pleased to do it. I mean, I've been coming down for what, 9-10 years, something like that? It's getting quite a while, isn't it?
It's been 6 years now.
6 years.
Oh,
It seems a lot.
that seems long.
No, it was that.
It was in Birmingham with Steve Timperley's old group.
That was about 2011.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, that's when we first met.
But I've always liked it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to meet you guys. In a way, you guys are also part of my life, and me going around teaching and meeting great people like yourselves. So, how have you found it, you guys?
Well, I mean, when we started chatting originally, and he said, "Well, what do you do?" And I said, "Well, I was Okinawan karate," and you instantly went, "So you know what I'm about?" And it was just that link that was missing, and that, as you said, I can show you. I won't show you the rainbow, but I can show you the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and it was just that deeper understanding, and it sort of prompted that, if you like, that quest for knowledge, really, not just the physical aspect, but it was suddenly all the research we started doing, and the more spiritual side, and like looking into lineage and the history, and that's the kind of thing that really struck me the most.
How have you found it when you look at from the point of view of your karate base and the stuff that I'm teaching you?
Yeah, when one of the things when we did like Kata Tensho or Sanchin, and we're looking at it, and then we're comparing it to Sulim Tao, and suddenly these hand movements make more sense. Whereas before they said, "Oh, this is just this move." Or my favourite statement, which I heard from someone who trained with, he asked his student who'd spent so many years training under a very famous instructor, and he said, "What's the bunkai from this move?" He said, "My instructor said some moves are there just to make the kata look pretty." And we're like, and he was like, "I don't believe that." He said, "I didn't believe that." And this guy, I've seen him do bunkai for that particular move, but when you sort of just the slight hand changement or the direction, it suddenly makes a kata, and the bunkai from it actually makes sense now. Whereas a lot of people, it's just, well, that's the move. And we say, what does it mean? They say, well, it's just the move. Whereas now there's that deeper sort of link to it.
I think one thing we see from the outside looking in is that karate in the West has something called bunkai.
Yeah.
So I remember 20 years ago somebody said, "What's the bunkai for your kung fu?" I said, "We don't have specifically bunkai in that we don't have the karate problem. In the West, we taught the stuff, and a lot of the instructors would go to all sorts of competitions, whether it's forms, community, and they don't know the applications of most of what they're teaching. They just don't. So they have people, I'm not going to name names, but there's a couple of famous ones in this country, and they go around to the karate clubs to teach bunkai.
Yeah.
This is not a problem in what we teach. So for instance, today we did, this weekend we did T-check. In the first T-check form, there's 4 sections, and each section has 3 combinations and applications. Everyone has got its own drill, everyone's got his application.
Yeah.
So there isn't a bunkai problem, is it? Because the application after that is that we do more of the application, the skill builder, rather than just doing the form. So that's one of the things we do. If a particular move in Wing Chun, if a particular move doesn't have a fighting application, we tell you. So at the very beginning, we do this. Okay. So that is to draw the center line. So I draw the center line, which is the central concept. it's not a fighting application directly. It's a fighting concept that we apply, but it's not direct, oh, block them, hit, type of thing.
Because when I see people and they say, like the first 3 moves of a kata, and it's this, this and this, and we say, well, for me that won't work, that guy's too tall, too short, but I'll go from that move, and then I'll go to a different principle from a different kata, because that flows on to the next move. So rather than going, I've been told it is this, it goes to here, then to here, it's got to flow from whatever the situation presents itself. So a lot of our bunkai drills are not preset, it's well, what happens at that particular moment in time, and if you get stuck, do the next move, and then you'll find the application and the fighting application of the concept. Our big thing is we say we're not training the technique, we're training the principle behind that move. So rather than saying that's an upper block, it's well, I'm off the centre line, I'm not getting hit in the head. Rather than saying I've got to.
You're talking about a guki.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, and we always say that's not going to work as a block. If we're in close.
Rising block. This is actually a good discussion within martial arts. I'll tell you why. Okay. So the Japanese have a forward stance and they block upwards. It's called rising block. The Chinese tend to have open hand. Open hand reason because half a chance of grab and hit, you grab and hit. But also there's a change in the stance. So in a position, and as the whatever comes in, you actually sink upon it to make it work.
Yeah.
So it combines with the bodily movement to make that work.
Yeah.
Because I know with the rising block, they also say that it's an upward arm bar.
There's something, we use it as a lock, a throw, a strike, pretty much everything except a block. To be honest, but again, because of our style, we're high stances. It's very short motions. If we see a turn, we assume it's a throw, and if we got a deep stance, we're bringing somebody down. We're not doing a low block. We brought somebody down to a lower level to do a throw or a technique. Not block. I'm blocking that down here. It's more of, well, they're up here. I want them down here.
I think that leads to another thing.
Yeah.
If you have a technique called rising block, then the word block tells you what it's doing.
Yeah.
But although it takes you in that direction, it also limits you to what its range of use is. Imagine if you've got something like Tansa. Why is it just called palm up? It hasn't told me anything.
Yeah.
Okay, or you've got Bongsa. What's Bongsa? It's the wing covering like this. It hasn't told me anything. Buso, things are thrusting. It hasn't told you the function. Okay, but if you haven't got the function, when you've got something like Buso, and the reason is that it's got many functions, it can't concentrate on one function. So for instance, Buso is to get out of certain traps, at the same time it's block, and it's also an attack. Yeah. So it's a multi-role technique. So keeping it as a name that's pretty neutral is pretty useful.
So if I shout at Bill and say, Bill, how many blocks do we actually do?
0.
0. We don't, because the actual translation, when we looked at it, it's a receiving technique. So rather than saying you're doing an upper block for it's as an attack coming in high, you are taking that technique and you are converting it or striking, attacking or throwing with that movement. So we tend to be a bit more fluid with how we approach that kind of thing. Because the same, a lot of times you've got one of the first block, a middle forearm block, and you bring your arm back here, you bring it round, you swing it.
Yeah,
I'm going to get punched in the face,
That reminds me, I suppose in classical martial arts, you have your basic 4 blocks. So you've got one up here. Yeah. You've got the inside one. You've got the low one.
Yeah.
You've got the outside one. One of those blocks. I think is it jiu-jitsu? They actually have a form, a stroke kata, in which they just do the blocks. And I think they call it something like the blocking kata or something like that. Have you heard of that?
No, I've seen kicking katas and.
There's a striker kata. I've seen that.
Yeah, but I mean when we sort of do blocking, we do a kata called tensho, which means either rotating palms or Chinese hands, and it is these very short hand motions rather than these big motions. So we tend to be upright, close in, rather than your opponents can stand back there, do this nice long lunge, classic punch that you need his arm there for 5 minutes.
Yep.
Strike, you know.
It is convenient though, isn't it?
It's good. As we say, for training drills, it's brilliant because then you get an idea of the motion, where your hands need to be, and then you start seeing. We say you do the kata, we show you the classic bunkai, so you can understand. Then we show you like practical, and then we say the last bit is where you find your own techniques for that move from different attacks because everybody's different. Bill's taller than me. Yeah, a lot of people are. So depending on their size, the technique will have to change.
Yeah, leading from technique, you can give your own 1 to 10 on the usability of a particular technique. So just as a simple example, if I say, okay, let's do bongsao, so a punch comes in your bongsao, and then you got a little guy against a big guy. The big guy says, well, it's very useful this. Okay, and then he throws a punch towards the little guy's face and goes, I'm looking at this difficult. Okay, so in terms of that type of point giving, the little guy might give it as a, I'm only going to give that a 3. The big guy goes, brilliant, that's got to be a 9.
Yeah.
Okay, but then you got a technique. So, okay, I can do a low punch. So the little guy likes ribs, okay, abdomen, groin. The big guy ain't going to use that technique.
Yeah.
Because he has to come down to do that. So the big guy's like, I'm only going to give that 1. The little guy's like, that's really useful for me.
Yeah.
That's a 9 for me. Okay, that's another way of looking at it. Here, the physiques are different. Other ones are different ways that some people move.
Yeah.
So if you're completely uncoordinated, then you're going to have, right, the only block I want to teach you is this. Nothing else, just that. Okay?
Yeah.
And then some people, well, there's more intelligent methods of doing it. There's deflection, there's going in, there's wedging.
Yeah.
So they will give a different score for techniques as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even the founder of karate, Funakoshi Gaishin, he had the 20 rules, and one of the rules was learn karate, then make it your own. So he was one of the things saying, you know, you learn this, but you have to adapt it to suit you. But I've been to a lot of traditional schools. It is this way, and everybody does the same techniques, the same applications, the same bunkai, whatever.
Yeah, this thing's thousands of years old.
Yeah.
So, like for instance, Qiang San Feng. Qiang San Feng is the guy who started Tai Chi.
Yeah.
One of the stories of how he started. This is very familiar for Wing Chun people because he is inspired by the snake and the crane to get his ultimate style. So Tai Chi is the ultimate style, and he beat a lot of people, etc. But he learned a lot of styles, and he put into his own stuff. Ho Yin Cha, the guy that's the story from Fearless.
Yeah.
Okay, Ho Yin Cha. He was the same. He came from the Ho family, a Kung Fu family, and he didn't quite follow that. He made his own stuff up by observing different martial arts and put it in his own style. So he came up with something called Mi Sung Yi, which is difficult to remember. Chinese called Mai Zhong Kun. And again, he's changed it and became it. Now, the ones that survive have to have some sort of core, some sort of structure. And karate survived extremely well.
Yeah.
So karate is worldwide, started in 1917, it's absolutely exploded across the world, etc. And it's got that rigidity that we're talking about. We've got that rigidity.
Yeah.
So there are people who are 4th, 5th dan who are learning tutorial katas. And these are the old ones. And then you meet some people and you say, how do you remember 48 katas?
Yeah.
And then study each kata. Or they go to one kata, like Sanchin, and they go, oh, I found the origin of this and how it came down. There's actually 3 of the lineages that I want to look at in the south of China, where the white crane came from.
Yeah.
So,
we've done a lot with Sanchin. Saw some guys doing white crane, showing the similarities, and then going. Is it the Fukian?
Fukin,
Yeah.
you've got to be careful when you say Fukin. F-U-K-I-E-N.
Yeah.
Fukian.
Fukian
So you've got
products.
Kien.
And I've seen some videos of the stuff there. And I like linking these things together.
Yeah, yeah.
So we train with anybody really, because we say we will see something and say.
Oh, by the way, that's another thing. The Sanchin Castle, I know the different strains
Yeah.
of karate do different.
Yeah.
that type of stuff. Different types of breathing exercise. Next time,
Yeah.
you can do some of the breathing exercise stuff, and also the dynamic tension. It's going to be fun. It gets the blood flowing when you do that.
Cool.
Squeezing it and getting the blood to the extremities and different parts of the legs. And if you have varicose veins, there's certain qigong exercises where you can get rid of the varicose veins and make your legs beautiful again.
As always, thank you for coming down. It's always good, and hopefully we get a few more sessions in next year.
Massively happy. It's great coming down here and meeting you guys again. So I feel I've known you for absolutely years.
Yep. And how will people get in contact with you?
If you want to get hold of me, it's Tong Liu on Facebook. Or you get him, you get me. Or you go to www.ChineseKungFuOrganization.com. Okay, so it's just the name of my organisation.com.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching, guys. We hope you like this video. Give us a thumbs up if you like it. Just drop a comment down below.
And as always, please subscribe if you haven't done already. Don't forget to ring the bell and free the fear.